Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for our football segment. We'll be discussing the English Premier League in detail. We've got a report from the team of Sports Extra. Let's go watch this and then come back.
Bruno Fernandes missed a stoppage time. Fender Courtney House broke the deadlock 2 minutes from time with a brilliant near post header past a helpless David De Gea in a dramatic late finale. House
that was, of course, City up against top leaders that we would have called them before the couple of games that took place. But City really had it strong. We knew that this probably is going to be the game.
So, if we're talking about City and Chelsea, if you're talking about memes as well, there was one of Pep Guardiola smiling and laughing with it written, Tuchel's got Pep's number, which is something I said on the show last week, and that's clearly proven to be wrong. I think City, it's interesting because Chelsea didn't manage, I think, a shot on target against City, where City only managed one shot on target the week before. So it's interesting to see how they're both, as much as I said Kepa has done well deputizing, I think this game needed Mendy, and only Kovacic is ruled offside, and that was well offside, so they didn't.
But stay tuned because we will be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra. It's a historic feat now that what we're going to be discussing. 100 Grand Prix victories for Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, member of the British Empire. He is someone who is not just exceptional, but might be one of the greatest ever race car drivers in F1 and motorsports history. We'll be discussing more about this. The team of Sports Extra has got a report. Let's just go take a look and then we'll come back.
Circumstances in Sochi, with Norris having looked set to claim his very first win before late heavy rain wreaked havoc just a few laps from the finish, and Hamilton's call to pit for intermediate tyres while Norris stayed out proved inspired, and saw Hamilton take the checkered flag first for the 100th time. As well as winning his 100th Grand Prix and becoming the first driver to achieve the feat, he also moved back to the top of the Drivers' Championship, standings ahead of Verstappen. Hamilton thanked his team for helping him get to this point and called his victory.
I'm very, very honoured to be joined on Sports Extra tonight by the first ever Pakistani licensed certified from the FIA race car driver in Pakistan, and probably I think he's somebody who shares a craze and a passion for racing that I've not seen much in this country or the region alone. He is Syed Ovais Naqvi, who's joining us. Assalamu alaikum, Ovais. Thank you for joining us on Sports Extra.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for that kind introduction. Really appreciate it.
Well, you deserve every bit of it. Like I said, Pakistan's first ever certified FIA licensed driver. So, like I said, Lewis Hamilton, in your all love of racing and the history that you've seen of racing over the years, somebody with 281 Grand Prix, 7 World Championships, 176 podiums, now 100 Grand Prix victories to his name. As somebody who is dedicated to racing, how do you see this historic feat?
So, look, statistically speaking, it's a very big deal. It's a huge deal. It's a big milestone. Also, you have to grant it that Lewis Hamilton is, statistically speaking, the greatest Formula One driver, race car driver that there ever has been. You know, he's got pretty much all the records. He has surpassed Michael Schumacher in almost all the records. And he still has a few years left to continue racing. So he will definitely take those numbers a lot higher. So, that is a given. There's no question about it.
Ovais, if we go a little back in history, then I still remember when he first appeared on the scene, he was rated as the best ever rookie driver to make it to the F1. But he came in at a time when Ferrari was completely dominating, courtesy of Michael Schumacher and guys like Jenson Button, who were also making an appearance, and so many others at that same time. What do you think made him so different, so special, and so successful? Because ever since he's come onto this scene, and I'll be very frank, being a Ferrari fan, that Mercedes have been untouchable.
So what I would have to say is, look, he was a great talent, and he was spotted by the McLaren team many years ago when he was just 12, 13 years old, and he was signed up as a McLaren future driver at the age of 12 or 13, and he did very well in his junior formula. But unlike all other top drivers that have come into Formula One, he is the only one who had a silver spoon throughout. What I mean when I say that is that he was given a top-notch car. He came straight into a top-tier team like McLaren. It was McLaren Mercedes at that time. It was a combined McLaren and Mercedes team, and he was given a drive directly. If you look at other drivers' history, whether it's been Michael Schumacher, who started off in the Benetton team and became a double world champion in Benetton, or if you look at Kimi Raikkonen, or if you look at Vettel, all of these guys came through lower tier teams. They spent a few years racing in the lower tier teams, and then they made the jump up to a top tier team. So he has definitely had an advantage over any other driver in Formula One history, that he came directly into a leading and top tier team, and he has never driven in a lower tier team. I mean, he's always been a McLaren driver or a Mercedes driver. So he has never had to drive in a lower tier team like Kimi Raikkonen is doing right now, like Schumacher did, like Alonso is doing right now. So that has to be considered.
If we talk about some challenge that might be posed to Hamilton, especially this season, we also know Mercedes has dominated Sochi ever since 2014, when the first race was held in Russia. Now 7 wins for them, and out of those 7, 5 have been to Hamilton. If you see other drivers this season as well, do you see somebody who you think might be the real challenger or might be able to pose a threat to Mercedes and Hamilton?
I think the challenge is being posed by Red Bull and Max Verstappen. I think Ferrari is really off the pace and really needs to get their act together. They've been not doing so well for a couple of years. Red Bull has been pumping a lot of money, and they have a great driver, very talented driver, and so they're definitely challenging. I think this is one of the closest seasons ever, and I think it's with 7 races to go, or I believe it's anybody who can take it. The drivers are close together, so it's really going to come down to the wire. It's hard to predict who will take it. I think Red Bull and Max Verstappen can take it if they hold their nerve, but because he is extremely young, but he is now experienced. I mean, Max Verstappen has been racing in F1 for 4 or 5 years now. So he has a lot of experience behind him. So it's going to be a very exciting end and finish to the season. But it's anybody.
He's got a great passion for racing. On that note, it's time now for a segment that is the news in brief. Championship was held where Pakistan Army won the bronze medal in Moscow. This was an event held in Russia. Sepoy Bilawal Zia made history for Pakistan. He clinched the bronze medal for Pakistan Army in this 58th World Military Boxing Championship that was held in Moscow, Russia. He's being orchestrated against Pakistan. He said he was in a strong position to qualify for the semi-final. He previously won a gold medal in Italy and Greece and was going for a hat-trick of medals in this World Series. And that's all we have time for this edition of Sports Extra. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.